Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. I've got two very important issues today. My topic number one is 5 soldiers, Indian Army soldiers, were martyred yesterday. In the last 10 days, almost 7 civilians too were killed in Kashmir. And most of these civilians were killed because they belong to a minority community. Let's discuss Kashmir killings. That's my topic number one. My topic number two is, I'm not going to do much. There's no topic. I just want to read to you a few points, a few statements made by the NHRC, that is National Human Rights Commission chairperson, and our good Prime Minister in one of the events. I just want to read out a few statements they made. I'm sure you will be able to form your own opinion after that. Let's get right into the show. 5 of our brave soldiers laid their life down for Mother India. They were martyred in Poonch district in Jammu and Kashmir. The militants, heavily armed militants, shot them dead. Now, in the last 10 days, 7 civilians too were killed in Srinagar. Most of them were killed because they belong to minority community, Hindus or Sikhs. 2 teachers were killed. One principal, a lady who was the principal of a government school in Srinagar. One teacher. A Belpuri vendor was killed. A pharmacy owner was killed. 3 Muslims, including a cab driver and a taxi union leader, were also killed. The question that one asks tonight is, are we taking the right steps to stop these killings? Are we actually finding a solution to the Kashmir problem? Or the solution that we have been working on for the last so many years, and I am not going to talk about 5 years, last so many years, is it all working? Or should we be reviewing our policies, our solutions, our strategies? Should we be doing that? And that's the point I'm going to discuss today. People are dying. And one of the things that's happening in the country is that we, especially the political class, seems to be communalizing it more. And as years passed, it is getting more and more communalized. And I'm not just talking about BJP. Of course, BJP does it. But I'm also talking about parties like PDP, who was BJP's former partners. They are focusing on communalizing this entire issue. The problem with communalizing this entire issue is what happens in Kashmir affects the rest of the country, and what happens in the rest of the country also affects Kashmir. So if you are going to communalize, it's not only going to have ramifications in Kashmir, we need to understand, and these politicians need to understand, that it's going to have ramifications in the rest of the country. You see, the fact remains that somewhere the minority has been targeted in Kashmir, no doubt about it. Again, like I said, the concept is not about revenge. The concept is not about communalizing the place more. The concept is about spreading a message. Not just in Kashmir, but right from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, that it is the job of a civilized majority to protect the minorities, to ensure that the minorities are safe in their area. This is the social behavioral change, SBC as it's called. This is the social behavioral change that we should be campaigning. You've tried everything. You've tried abrogation of Article 370. You tried putting the army there. You tried interlocutors there. You tried everything, right? Let's go beyond Kashmir and try to heal Kashmir. Let us build, and this is true to every part of the country, because minority somewhere could be majority somewhere else. Minorities in Maharashtra would be Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, and other Jains, etc. And minority in a Srinagar could be Hindus and Sikhs. Minorities keep on changing. If a culture that preaches, promotes, and talks about safeguarding minority, in whichever area you are, safeguarding minority, protecting the majority, protecting the minority, I think this problem will be resolved. It is not going to be overnight. But then we tried. No, this is happening since 1990 to this scale. It is happening since 1986 actually, 1985. And all the solutions, all the pressure, all the military power, all the thing couldn't resolve the problem, could it? So, engaging a social behavioral change exercise may be the solution. And I think it's a solution not only required by Kashmir, it's a solution that will make this country more peaceful, because our founding fathers made our country secular, wanted to see our country secular for the simple reason that they realized when we got the independence, when they saw the population, they realized the only way this country will prosper and be glorious as it is only if we stay together, learn to live together. And that's why they did it. Somewhere down the line, that concept is moving out, and I am saying, okay, let's return that concept back. Let's talk about minority protection. Whether it is Kashmir, like I said, or Kanyakumari, or Assam, or Gujarat. Let's protect our minorities. Let that be the social message that we send to our people. Hopefully, we'll have a more peaceful India and especially a more peaceful Srinagar soon. Okay, like I told you, my next segment talks about Arun Mishra, the National Human Rights Commission chairperson, and some statements he made and some statements that the good Prime Minister made in that same event. The first statement that I want to read out to you is Arun Mishra says that India is one of the strongest democratic forces today. But there is a new tendency to accuse it of human rights violation at the behest of international forces. His statement number one. Statement number two he made, such freedom is not available in many other countries. We cannot glorify terrorism and terrorists. No one has the freedom to destroy institutions through their contemptuous act. Statement number second. Let me take you to his statement number three. In the quest of instant justice, there is a tendency of police to foist false cases. This has to stop. Now, at this particular statement, I had told you I will only read and leave it to your good judgment to draw your own inferences. But in this particular statement, I see an oxymoron. Because justice and false cases are oxymorons. There are two different statements in the same sentence, which means what I meant is, in the quest of instant justice, there is a tendency of police to foist false cases. Justice and false cases. How can you have false cases to get somebody instant justice? Didn't quite get that, but all the same, I presume the good judge knows, good former judge knows what he's talking about. That being said, let me continue. Okay, let me now take you through some statement Mr. Justice Arun Mishra made for our Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah. He said, it is for you, Mr. Shah, that a new era has begun in Jammu and Kashmir. This is what he told Mr. Amit Shah. And now let me get to some of the statements that our good Prime Minister made in the same occasion. Our Prime Minister said that there is an aspect of human rights that I want to discuss today. These days, we see that people have started interpreting human rights in a way that benefits them. However, these rights are grossly violated when these are looked from a political lenses. This selective behavior is harmful for our democracy, is what he said. He said that India has always been committed and sensitive towards issues concerning human rights. So these were the statements he made. Two people, one chairperson of National Human Rights Commission, who says that we are a very democratic country, and whatever human rights issue that we see, most of them are actually instigated by foreign hands or by international forces, as he put it. And the second statement made by a Prime Minister, where he says that A lot of people looks at human rights from a position that it benefits them. This is what our Prime Minister feels about human rights, and this is what current chairperson of National Human Rights Commission feels. You decide what to infer of these statements. Till I see you next time. Namaskar.